107.5 WBLS, number one for R&B and the community.
Well, good morning to you wherever you're listening from. Glad to have you with us this morning from 107.5 WBLS. Well, it's a high of 82 degrees today. The low will be about 64. Each and every second Sunday of the month, as you know by now, WBLS is proud to welcome a brother. He's the 110th mayor of New York City, the second mayor of color, and the first hip-hop mayor in the city's history. It's time for us to hear from the mayor, Eric L. Adams, and the mayor wants to hear from you right here from 107.5 WBLS. Let's get it started. Good morning, Brother Mayor. Good to have you with us as always.
Thank you. Great to be with you also, Gary, and to all the listeners out there as you tune in to hear from the mayor. And I'm your mayor, Eric Adams. If this is your first time tuning in, the purpose is just really to share dialogue with you and other New Yorkers. Listeners should give me a call and hear directly from me, or here's some of the things that we're doing to building a better city, or you can sign up to hear more from me by visiting nyc.gov/hear from Eric. And you can also sign up on our website to text with Eric and talk with me on WhatsApp. But today, this morning, Sunday, this is a beautiful day out, by the way. Get outdoors and enjoy it. You can also call me at 212-545-1075. As many of you know, this past Thursday was September 11th, 2025. We reflect on what took place over 24 years ago on September 11th, 2001, where we lost nearly 3,000 people who perished on that terrible, terrible day when two planes flew into our World Trade Center. And it just created so much havoc throughout our country, because as you know, we also had a plane that flew into the Pentagon, and we saw a plane that crashed in the field in Shakespeare, Pennsylvania. And the names of those lost during this terrorist attack were read aloud during the testimony and ceremony, during the ceremony at the 9/11 memorial. And so 24 years, we have not forgotten them, and we want to keep them in mind. The most remarkable thing I always say is not the tragedy of what happened on September 11th, but what took place September 12th. We got up, teachers taught, builders build, retailers sold their goods, and we showed those who thought they would impact us of our level of resiliency as New Yorkers. And our resiliency cascaded throughout the entire country, and we saw our country stand up and state that we would not be terrorized by terrorists. And one person who really personifies that is my guest today, Paul McCormack. Amazing, amazing individual, former New York City Police Department inspector. He was the CEO of the 13th Precinct. And he turned, what I like to say, he turned pain into purpose. He didn't sit back and say, woe is me. He said, why not me? Let me be the leader from the front. And when he retired due to his injuries sustained in the line of duty on 9/11, it left him legally blind. He continued to make sure that we would never forget this moment. He's the CEO of Ground Zero 360. It's a traveling exhibition honoring the victims of 9/11 and their families. And earlier this week, I had the honor of unveiling the art installation at the Rotunda at City Hall. If you haven't seen it, please come out and see it. It is an accumulation of 14 years of work that he has put together and moved around the country, visited 60 cities, featuring photography, artifacts, and artwork. It tells the real story of the courage, the loss, and the resiliency. And the exhibition includes personal effects of 11 fallen first responders and 100 artworks reflecting on 9/11. It is really an important exhibit. And I just want to thank him and his wife Nicola McClean, a photojournalist who was working in New York City on that terrible day of September 11th. And the two of them are married and created Ground Zero 360 together. And so I want to turn it over to you, Paul. That was a mouthful of what you have done and accomplished. Tell us the concept of your exhibit and how did it come about?
Well, first off, Mayor, thank you for having me here. And thank you for having us at City Hall. It was a tremendous honor and privilege to be there. And very, very kind of you to have us there. As you said, I was the commanding officer of the 41st Precinct on 9/11 in the South Bronx. And my wife was working for the Irish Voice and Irish American magazine on 9/11. And my wife was down there on the 11th. And when the towers fell, in the days and weeks thereafter, there was a lot of people were showing up with missing posters. I think any of your listeners that were around at the time, missing posters started going up everywhere in the city, at all of the bus shelters, train stations, hospitals. People were desperately looking to find their lost loved ones. And it was desperately sad. It was really sad. And my wife got really affected by it. She knew then that she wanted to do something to honor the victims and their families. And she created Ground Zero 360, and as most wives do, she came to me looking for, what am I going to do? Say, whatever you want, hon, whatever you want. But no, she created an incredible exhibition to honor the victims, and the mission is to keep the memory alive and never forget the sacrifice of so many on that terrible day. And a lot of the pictures that she took, it was on 35mm film, were of messages that were written in the dust there was a lot of firefighters. There was 343 firefighters that were lost, 23 members of the NYPD, 37 Port Authority police officers. And there were some really sad messages that were written on the car windshields, on the store windows. And she asked me to track down some of the families that were in the messages, and we did. And as you mentioned earlier, we actually have 13 family members that lost loved ones on 9/11. And I went to the families and asked them if they would be involved in the project, if they would want, because we wanted to remember their families, and they're all basically family members of ours right now. We have their personal effects in the exhibition, and it's an emotional thing, Mr. Mayor, but it's a privilege to be able to do it every year. It's a labor of love, and like you mentioned, being a member of the NYPD. You said September 12th, it would show the true nature of our country. And by God, it did. I remember traveling down from the Bronx to Ground Zero. For 3 months, I was traveling down there. And the people were lined up in the streets. And I think every American became a New Yorker after 9/11. America became a community. And by God, I was never, and I mean never, as proud to be a New Yorker. I was never as proud to be a member of the NYPD. Or as proud to be an American as I was at that time, because there was no left or right, Democrat, Republican, none of that nonsense. We were all a united country, and Jesus, I wish we could get back to that united feeling. And but the exhibition for the 10th anniversary, Nicola wanted to do. It was basically going to be a 3-week memorial in her hometown in Dublin at the National Museum of Ireland, and that has turned into a 14-year odyssey right now, where you mentioned we have artists from all over the world. 15 countries have created pieces of art that they've given to us to show it affected everybody worldwide. It really did. There was so many countries and so many people affected. And like, I remember for the 20th anniversary, my wife gave me a list of 15 artists. And she said, I'd like you to contact these people to do some art for us. And they were like big names like Sean Scully and Huey. I was like, these guys are going to tell me to go jump in a river. But it was quite the opposite. They were all like, we'd love to do something to honor the victims. And it went from 15 artists to over 100 artists right now. And, but it's people like yourself. I remember speaking to you on St. Patrick's Day this year about this event, and you didn't even hesitate. You were like, yeah, we're going to have this in City Hall. And we're going to give it the right, the right space, the right place to show this. And you didn't even hesitate. And it's people like yourself that really make us feel good about what we're doing, because you make it so easy for us. And thank you so much for just a magnificent venue. Thank you.
No, so true. And, like they say, we all gave something, but some gave all. And we should remember those who gave all. And, as your work, it really allows us to reflect on it through the visual art, which is very powerful. And some of the paintings really reflect the spirit and energy. What is the next destination for the exhibit?
Well, we're going to be at City Hall for the next few months. We're hoping to return next year. Like the 25th anniversary is probably going to be the biggest anniversary since it happened. And as I said to you on Monday at City Hall, there's no place like home. So we want to have it in New York again. So God willing, we can have it back at City Hall because it's the right venue to to honor these victims and their families. It was a very special. We had a few families there. Jimmy Smith, who lost his wife Moira,
powerful story. Was
there. Really powerful. Like I remember being in my office in the 41st precinct with my executive staff, and my most vivid memory of 9/11 was when the first tower fell. A female police officer came over the radio calling for help. And you know yourself, Mayor, as a cop, there's nothing worse than hearing a fellow officer, but especially when it's a female, not being sexist, but when it's a female calling for help, it's a different call. And there's nothing more sickening in your gut when there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And I remember that female voice was police officer Moira Smith. And Jimmy, who's a retired cop from the 13th precinct, Jimmy gave us Moira's personal effects as part of the exhibition. And one of the paintings right at the bottom of the steps of City Hall, of the Rotunda, is a painting that Jim Fitzpatrick did of Moira, who is probably the greatest example of courage, selflessness, heroism that you'll ever find as a police officer. And one example for cops worldwide, just an unbelievable inspiration for all of us, and something we could strive to be like. She ran in there. Her last picture was taking a bloodied guy out of the towers, and she went right back in afterwards and made the ultimate sacrifice. So for us to be able to honor people like that is just a privilege.
No, so true. And now, due to your work there, you lost your sight. What is your personal story?
Well, I got chemicals in my eyes. My eyesight deteriorated rapidly after 9/11 to the point where I couldn't drive and I couldn't shoot anymore. Not much use as a cop if you can't do those two things. But I had to retire from the job I loved. I loved being a cop. And but I turned, as you said, I tried to turn that into doing things to help people. I started up the finest federal credit union to help law enforcement in New York City, which is now rolled into New York State. I teach for a promotional school called The Key. We do, you probably know, I think you were one of our students back in the day, I believe, when you were studying for captain. I think you were one of my students, by the way. So, yeah, but we're delighted to be continuing helping cops. And I was a big sports person. And one of the things, like I used to play a lot of golf, and I had to give it up cold turkey for 13 years. And then I got involved with the United States Blind Golf Association, and I didn't even know that there was such thing as blind golf. Like people listen, they say blind golf. What the hell are you talking about, blind golf? But there are so many organizations out there that can help the blind and visually impaired. And I wound up joining US Blind Golf, International Blind Golf Association, which gives you an outlet. Being blind and visually impaired can be a very dark and lonely and depressing place. It can. It's frustrating. I can tell you, if I have 5 kids and to not be able to see them playing sports from the sideline and see things that other adults and parents can see it can be depressing. But when you can get involved with organizations like the United States Blind Golf Association, and you get out to outings where you can socialize and meet people, and it's just a healthy way. It's healthy for your mind and body. And like I represent, you represent your country at certain events, and I had the honor of representing New York and the United States at the World Blind Golf Championships in Canada last month. So I was delighted to do that.
It's a powerful story, because sometimes we believe that after the buildings collapsed and the rebuilding, people still had to rebuild their lives. And oftentimes when you're going through these difficult moments, it really calls on you. Faith is crucial, and hearing your story of how that terrorist attack also impact your vision, impact the lives of others. But you have truly turned that pain into purpose.
You mentioned faith, Mayor. I grew up a Catholic in Ireland. Went to mass every week, every weekend. But when I moved over to America, emigrated to America in '86, worked construction, joined the police department, and you kind of get away from your faith. But it's amazing how events like that can bring you back and closer to God. I remember Trinity Church was a right there beside, still there, and was such a source of inspiration and hope. And I remember going in there and just it got me closer to God, that event. And I remember going in and be praying, reflecting, resting. And I think a lot of people felt that way. Sometimes it's sad to say, but it takes events like that to really get you closer to God and make you realize the important things in life.
It makes us reset. I hear the music, and we're going to move to a break. Please stay with us. Paul has more to share, and if you have any questions, you could call us again. The number is 212-545-1075.
The program is here from the mayor, and in addition, the mayor wants to hear from you. As you heard, 212-545-1075 is the number to call. 212-545-1075. We'll come back with the mayor and his special guest right after this from 107.5 WBLS.
Out to the store? Well, why not pick up some scratch-offs from the New Jersey Lottery? With tickets at different prices, it's easy to scratch and play at a lottery retailer near.
Take an Amex card with you on your morning coffee run and earn cash back. On a weekend trip, earn miles. See if you pre-qualify for an American Express card with no impact on your credit score. Learn more at americanexpress.com/check-4-offers. Your credit score may be impacted if you accept a card. Terms apply.
You took the elevator to the 48th floor and handed him the briefing. Your fingertips touched, sending a shockwave of desire through the air. The room pulsed with a silent craving as he drew you in with his smoldering gaze, before uttering the words your body ached to hear.
The next train on track 2 is delayed.
And all the while, you were on your commute home. There's more to imagine when you listen. Discover romance titles on Audible.
Addiction is a treatable medical condition. What helps people seek treatment is support. What does not help is shame and stigma. We can all make a difference. Learn how at oasis.ny.gov. The New York State Office of Addiction Services and Supports. Every step of the way.
At ShopRite, we are all about family here. And value too. Helping you make quick, easy, and delicious meals every day. Offering everything from freshly prepared, ready-to-serve favorites to traditional family meal solutions, including our value-priced bowl and basket offerings. All while saving you time and money. At ShopRite, we know that family mealtime is all about the little moments you cherish with the big savings we could all use. ShopRite. We are here.
Experiencing pain in your knee? Have you been diagnosed with arthritis and your current treatment is just not working? Is your pain preventing you from your normal activities? Do you want to possibly avoid having knee replacement surgery? Well, now there are innovative non-surgical options that can help eliminate your knee pain. Call Knee Pain Center of America and get your life back. Call today. You have nothing to lose but your pain. Call at 833-8-MY-KNEE. That's 833-8-MY-KNEE.
Think you know what it means to be a direct support professional?
Think again. It's about making an impact on someone's life.
It's about learning new skills I can use to advance my career.
Think you know what it means to have a meaningful job?
Think again.
This is not your typical 9-to-5.
As a direct support professional,
every day can be rewarding.
Every day is more than work.
Rethink your career.
Become a direct support professional.
Find jobs at directsupportcareers.com.
You've seen the ads, pre-owned car prices that seem too good to be true, because often they are. Once you try to buy one, the final price is thousands more. You've been duped. But that won't happen at Major World, where what you negotiate is what you pay. Yeah, some things we can't help, like taxes, DMV fees, plus a small $175 processing fee. But that's it. No surprises. Don't get duped by fake low prices. Come instead to Major World.
Major World, 4340 Northern Boulevard, Long Island City, Queens. Call 1-800-MAJOR-AUTO or go to MajorWorld.com.
Ron had a tax problem he just couldn't handle on his own.
I owed the IRS taxes for over 5 years, but I didn't have any money to pay the taxes.
Those years cost him dearly.
Most of it was fees and interest. It was horrible.
Ron finally called in the pros.
I called Optima Tax Relief. And boy, am I happy I did.
The leading tax resolution firm, Optima, is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients. Ron was overjoyed.
They settled my account with the IRS. I was ecstatic. They are a lifesaver. They are. I am so happy.
Take Ron's advice and call Optima now for a free consultation.
Yeah, don't do like I did and wait. Call Optima Tax Relief. Do it now. You'll be ecstatic like me.
Call 800-658-7055. That's 800-658-7055. 800-658-7055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Our office computers were from like 2012.
What? They had computers then?
Yeah, I don't know much about new tech.
Apparently.
So I went to Staples and saved big on an AI-powered HP laptop and HP OfficeJet Pro printer, which also came with 3 months of free instant ink.
And we're back in this century. During Staples HP Tech Event, save up to 35% on HP printers and up to 40% on AI-powered HP PCs.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Until 11/1, select models only.
Why is Macy's one-day sale the one sale you can't miss? For starters, you'll find our best prices of the month on fall's top trends, like $99.99 for trenches and barn jackets, diamond bracelets $249, and for cozy nights in, comfy sheets at $19.99 and under. Plus, it's Star Money bonus days, when Star Rewards members can earn Star Money faster. Not a member yet? Join for free online or in-store. Don't miss Macy's one-day sale today. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
107.5 WBLS, #1 for R&B and the community.
The program is Hear from the Mayor, and the Mayor wants to hear from you. Stand by, he'll be taking your calls in just a moment. Let's welcome back Mayor Eric Adams and his special guest.
Thank you so much, and I'm here with Paul McCormack, retired inspector of the NYPD and CEO of Ground Zero 360. Before we go to calls, Paul, tell me about the continuous death. We hear about the 3,000 on September 11, 2001, but there are many deaths that are taking place even now.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize, Mr. Mayor. I think there's more than double the amount that got killed in the attacks have died since 9/11 of cancers, respiratory diseases, and other illnesses. And it's really sad. And I'd like to do a thank you to the Mount Sinai Medical Program for what they do for the sick and injured. And every year, anybody that was down there, probably yourself included, should be getting checked up. But every year we go to the Mount Sinai Program. But it's sad. We have a sergeant that worked for me, Steve Chaffee. We honor him in the exhibition as well. He died of cancers from 9/11, and we're honored to honor him in our exhibition as well.
Powerful.
But please think and pray for all of the people that work there.
Yes. Why don't we go to the callers? Callers, if you have a question for Paul or myself, Mayor Adams, you're on the air, caller.
Hello?
Yes, how are you, caller? We have a little amount of time, so we want to get to your question, okay?
Good morning. Yes, good morning. And thank you to the 9/11. Hello? Thank you to the 9/11 memorial with Officer McCormack there. I am one of the workers from the 9/11 Mount Sinai program. And I just wanted to thank you all for your service and just share with you that I appreciate Officer McCormack saying that it would be good to get back to a state of unity, because at the 9/11 program, I served previously. I'm not there anymore. But at the time when I served right after 9/11, the actual Ground Zero tragedy, we did not care who the person voted for, what political party they were part of, or what their life choices were. We served everybody, anybody, and we came unified to try to bring some healing and some help and some coordination for everybody that participated or lived around and was affected by the 9/11 tragedy, either physically there or emotionally or psychologically. And I still have that practice today, that it doesn't matter who you voted for, what you
You're
are.
right, sis. I'm sorry, sister. You're right. That music is we're ending, but we got the spirit of what you were saying, and I thank you so much for what you have done and the energy you're putting out right now. And I want to thank all our listeners in WBLS for allowing us to communicate with you. Thank you, and have a great weekend.
Our thanks, of course, to our Mayor Eric Adams and his very special guest this morning, Paul McCormack. Also giving appreciation this morning to Brother Marco Nobles from the GHCC joining us this morning with our Harlem GHCC update. And, of course, the man with the magic hands, Brother Rick Wright, the Master ENG, and Sister Nairi Shannon, our producer emeritus. Well, stand by. Mia Bell is out this week, but Bent Rock will be on your clock, and he'll be doing what he does so well on the radio at WBLS. Put it on lock. And don't forget, of course, coming up later this afternoon, Brother Jeff Fox will rock the box, followed by Golden Era Radio. It's all happening right here from 107.5 WBLS. Key to tomorrow, it's what we do today. The decision to work or whether to play. Both have their place in the human life stream, but only one will achieve your dream. Life is the ultimate trip once you learn to experience it.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleep.